Hello everyone. Welcome to my YNR 24 Spoilers channel. Jack Abbott chooses Victor Newman as his ally. This is your recap for Thursday, September 25th, 2025's episode of The Young and the Restless. The Young and the Restless events. If Billy is unable to let go of Chancellor on The Young and the Restless, Sally might not return to him. Lauren questioned Michael on his ability to stop Kane. Michael agreed and expressed a desire to resume his romantic evening with his wife, possibly engaging in some ear-nibbling. In order to prevent Michael from turning on the music again, Lauren took his phone away. "Take a moment, caped crusader," Lauren reprimanded her husband, until he explained to her how he was going to preserve Genoa City. She said there would be no more romantic evenings. Michael promised Lauren that he would fix problems. Michael pointed out that the term fixer wasn't appropriate when Lauren used it. Lauren remembered that Michael had messaged her about a job while she was in New York, but he declined since he preferred retirement. Lauren pointed out that Michael then accepted the position. Michael was told by Lauren not to reveal what was happening because he wanted to keep her safe. Michael stated, "There are delicate things that need to be dealt with." Lauren questioned whether her spouse would do any crimes. "Can we go on?" Michael inquired. Lauren said gladly. Michael claimed that being near him was the only way to defuse the situation. Lauren declared that she would not release him from custody. Lauren remarked, "I want you to keep out of it." Michael declared that he would not stand by and do nothing. After all, it was Jack who caused him to leave Victor. He can undermine Kane's plans if he has inside knowledge. There would be no harm. Lauren said, "Expect you." She adamantly refused to allow him to endanger himself. Michael claimed to have the abilities to change things. Lauren didn't like it. For honesty, Michael sought points. "You took too long," Lauren said. Michael assured Lauren that he would not be harmed. Lauren understood that he was not going to change his mind. "All right, Truce?" Michael inquired. Lauren was relieved that he hadn't returned to Victor and that her first concerns were unfounded. Lauren's claim that Kane was a young Victor Newman was laughed at by Michael. He stated that he would be working against Kane's interests rather than advancing them. Lauren questioned how Michael discovered Kane's scheme. According to Michael, working for Kane won't be the same as working for Victor. Lauren was curious as to whether Michael had made this move specifically for her. Michael then questioned his wife about whether or not she was posing a trick question. Working with Kane will be a one-time experience, he stressed. Michael will shut him down and move on. Lauren claimed to have always had faith in Michael. She was concerned, though. At Chancellor Park, Sally confided in Billy that she wasn't sure how she could trust him. Billy pleaded for another opportunity. "They can work this out together," he replied. "He hasn't mentioned giving up Chancellor Industries," Sally said. Sally informed Billy that she would find it difficult to put her trust in him. Billy inquired as to whether Sally's decision to proceed would be impacted by his desire to become Chancellor. In the moment, Billy believed what he said, Sally noted. Billy was determined to regain control of Chancellor Industries, Sally observed. Since Jill sold it, Billy has been fixated on getting Chancellor back, according to the fiery redhead. She doesn't want to compete with it, and she can't. Billy's desire to win back Chancellor must be communicated to Sally. Billy preferred Chancellor Industries to Abbott Communications, according to Sally. She claimed that Billy's thoughts were limited to the suffering he believed his mother had inflicted on him. Billy felt that something was his, and he didn't want to apologize for wanting it back. Abbott Communications may have been legally his, according to Sally, but neither she nor he felt that it was sufficient. She was collateral damage, Sally pointed out. He risked her future as well as Sally. She cannot simply go out and find employment immediately. Sally thought Billy would commit. She now needed to choose what she desired and how to obtain it. Billy told Sally he was sorry. He acknowledged that he desired both Abbott and Chancellor. Billy told Sally that he spoke with Jack and that they are all against Kane together. That, Sally acknowledged, was a step. That would be fantastic, Sally said. but Billy wasn't giving her the information she sought. Is he no longer seeking retribution on Jill? Inquiring Chancellor or me? That sounds like an ultimatum, Billy said. Sally expressed her desire to learn, which Billy desired more. She claimed that since her future was on the line, she had no other option. In order for Sally to move on, Billy had to acknowledge that Jill was mistaken and either move on with her or not. She said that the circumstances are unjust to her. Billy stated that pushing her away was the last thing he wanted to do. Billy was urged by Sally to abandon the notion that Jill was mistaken. Sally remarked, "I would really hate to think that a company means more to you than me. Chancellor or me." Sally turned to leave. Billy interrupted her by stating that, aside from his children, she was the most significant thing in his life. Billy admitted that it pains him that Sally gave up something. He had no intention of harming her. According to Sally, this was about deeds more than intentions. Billy claimed to have picked Sally. "This has to be real," Sally remarked. He assured her that she would defeat him. He declared, "I need you in my life." "You have my undying love," Sally declared. Jack, meantime, advised Kyle not to let others to control his feelings. When it came to Victor, he had to remind himself of this every day. Diane acknowledged that she could understand why Audra irritated Kyle. Diane joked that she ought not to have exchanged jabs with Audra. Kyle praised his mother for being able to hold her own. Jack brought up Billy's assertions that he had no interest in interacting with Kane. He is unsure if he can trust him. Jack described Billy's intention to form an alliance with Kane and Billy's subsequent choice to pursue Kane. Although Billy is obsessed with Chancellor, Jack thinks he loves his family. He is unable to see past the suffering that Jill caused him. Jack fears Billy will set everything on fire. Kyle inquired as to their next destination. Jack doubted that they could rely on Billy. Diane recommended that Jack capitalize on Billy's affection for his deceased father. Jack warned that they might be derailed by Billy's determination to exact revenge on Jill. Kyle proposed that they devise a strategy. To ensure that Jabot was safe from Kane's AI, he contacted the company's chief technology officer. Jack stated that he had started his strategy in the interim. To defeat Kane Ashby, I will do the one thing I never imagined I would have to do: team up with a mustache. The notion of Jack and Victor working together did not sit well with Diane. Kyle agreed. According to Jack, they must approach Kane from a different angle. He disapproved of Diane's and Kyle's cautions. "Is it worth raising a white flag in front of Victor?" Diane asked. Diane warned Jack that if he collaborated with Victor, he would wind up with a knife in his back. Jack claimed that he and Victor had been competing against each other for decades. He was aware of what awaited him. "I know what I'm doing, I assure you," Jack said. Victor, meantime, paid Kane a visit at his train. Victor accepted Kane's offer of tequila. Victor requested an update on Kane's attack on Jabot Cosmetics using his AI software. Kane and Victor have differing perspectives on their most recent exchange. Victor feared that unless Kane attacked Jabot, he would reveal how Colin obtained the money that gave him Kane's billions. "Are you sure you want me to take this action?" Victor questioned Kane. He pointed out that it could be more difficult for Kane to make amends with his kids if they read negative things about him. Victor was counseled by Kane not to turn on Maddie and Charlie. Victor believed that Kane may eventually get back in touch with his children. Victor noted that he and Kane could prevail together. Kane questioned what he gained from this. Kane was allowed to keep everything he owned and add Jabot to his collection of toys, Victor claimed. Why wouldn't Victor want Jabot? Kane wondered. Victor joked that he wanted Kane to assist him in crushing Jack Abbott, saying, "I used to own Jabot. It bored the hell out of me. Let me tell you what the difference is. I made Newman Enterprises. I built it with my own hands. That guy is a rich boy." His father handed Jabot to him on a silver platter. "I have no respect for that guy. He nearly ran it into the ground a few times." "Don't compare us," Victor told Kane, highlighting the distinction between Newman and Jabot. Victor said he would think about it. Cain wanted a firm commitment. Victor demanded an answer. Cain said he would think about it. Victor said that if Cain left, the deal would be off the table. Cain stated that he wanted Newman Media to be honest about Colin and how he repented before he entered into business with Victor. Victor drank the tequila and wished Cain luck after Michael arrived at his train, explained that he was thinking about accepting a job offer from Cain, and asked why it didn't surprise him that Michael was working for the highest bidder. Cain replied that he wouldn't accept it if Victor didn't give him until morning. Jack Abbott's decision to ally himself with Victor Newman represented not only one of the most unthinkable alliances in the long and turbulent history of the Young and the Restless, but also a seismic shift in the power dynamics of Genoa City itself, the kind of maneuver that viewers, fans, and even the characters inside the fictional world never truly expected to see come to pass outside of short-term necessity. For decades, Jack and Victor embodied the eternal clash of ideologies, business philosophies, and personal vendettas. Jack, the privileged son who spent a lifetime fighting to prove his worth in his father's shadow, determined to protect Jabot as the ultimate Abbott legacy. Victor, the self-made titan who built Newman Enterprises brick by brick and who despised everything Jack represented, mocking him as a spoiled, rich boy who squandered his birthright. Their rivalry transcended corporate warfare, bleeding into marriages, friendships, children, and legacies. It became a cycle where neither could tolerate seeing the other on top. And yet, here we were in the autumn of 2025, watching Jack calmly tell Diane and Kyle that the only way to eliminate the growing threat of Cain Ashby's artificial intelligence empire was to walk directly into the lion's den, swallow his pride, and shake hands with the man he once swore he'd never forgive. The audience could almost hear the collective gasp of the Abbott family's ancestors echoing through the Abbott mansion's walls as Jack admitted, "I am going to do the one thing I never thought I would have to do. Join forces with a mustache to take Cain Ashby down." It wasn't a moment played for shock value alone. It was a turning point that revealed just how desperate and dangerous the game had become in Genoa City. For Jack, the calculus wasn't easy, nor was it impulsive. He had spent weeks watching Billy spiral into an obsessive crusade against Jill, chasing Chancellor Industries like a moth to flame, unable to see that his fixation was destroying not just his personal life with Sally, but also his credibility within the Abbott family. Jack knew better than anyone that Billy's instability left Jabot vulnerable. And with Cain exploiting new AI tools that could destabilize not just Jabot's infrastructure, but the entire business landscape of Genoa City, Jack realized he needed a partner who operated at Cain's ruthless level, someone who understood how to fight in shadows, who wasn't afraid to play dirty. Diane, ever pragmatic but instinctively protective, warned him that Victor Newman was not a partner but a predator, one who would eventually twist the alliance to his own ends. Kyle, younger but hardened by his own betrayals, agreed, reminding his father of the countless times Victor's handshake ended with a knife in the back. But Jack, with decades of scars from Victor's games, countered that it was precisely because he knew Victor so well that he could enter this alliance with open eyes. Unlike Billy, who mistook passion for strategy, Jack understood that his nemesis respected only those who fought with cunning and resilience. In Jack's mind, if he framed the partnership as a means to an end, temporary, transactional, and aimed squarely at a common enemy, then maybe, just maybe, Jabot and the Abbott family could survive the storm Cain was whipping up. Victor, of course, relished the irony. When Jack approached him, he could not resist twisting the knife of history, reminding Jack of the times he nearly destroyed him and mocking the rich boy who had come crawling for help. Victor made no secret of his disdain for Jabot, dismissing it as a legacy business handed to Jack on a silver platter, something that could never compare to the empire he built with his own hands. Yet, underneath his barbs, Victor recognized the opportunity. Victor Newman had always been a strategist who thought 5 moves ahead, and the chance to align with Jack allowed him to manipulate 2 rivalries at once. He could destabilize Cain, who fancied himself a younger version of Victor, while simultaneously pulling Jack into his orbit, reminding him of his inferiority. To Victor, it wasn't about friendship or trust. it was about leverage. He could use Jack to weaken Cain, and then, when the dust settled, decide whether to dismantle Jabot once and for all or allow Jack a fleeting sense of victory before striking again. The tension of this alliance extended beyond just Jack, Victor, and Cain. Diane's skepticism turned to dread in the Abbott home as she anticipated the emotional toll this would take, fearing that siding with Victor would reopen Jack's deepest wounds and force him to relive decades of betrayal and humiliation. Kyle, on the other hand, attempted to compartmentalize, seeing the alliance as a tactical necessity while preparing backup plans to protect Jabot's digital infrastructure from Cain's AI sabotage. Billy, on the other hand, had always defined himself in opposition to Victor as much as Jack, and the idea that his brother, the man who had lectured him about honor, restraint, and keeping the Abbott name pure, was now shaking hands with Newman was unbearable. It pierced Billy's psyche in a way that threatened to push him further into reckless decisions, especially as Sally issued her ultimatum, forcing him to choose between her and Chancellor. In the meantime, in the Newman orbit, Nick, Victoria, and Nikki all had different reactions to the idea of their patriarch working with Jack. Nick, who had grown tolerant of Victor's constant arguments, cautioned him against letting another grudge ruin his health and his family. Victoria, who was always the strategist, was concerned about the appearance of Newman Enterprises siding with Jabot, especially if Cain twisted the story in the media. Nick, who had become more tolerant of Jack in recent years, secretly feared that his father was laying a trap that would destroy Jack. However, once Victor made up his mind, they all knew better than to confront him. The Australian invader had the gall to think he could outmaneuver Genoa City's titans with algorithms and AI programs, and Victor took it as both an insult and an opportunity. Cain, for his part, was reveling in his own self-perceived genius, believing that his AI programs were ready to infiltrate and disrupt Jabot's operations, making him untouchable, a predator of the digital age who could topple legacy businesses with a few keystrokes. His conversations with Victor showed both his ambition and his insecurity, demanding that Newman Media present a sanitized version of Colin's past, demanding validation for his father Colin's legacy, and trying to bargain for equal footing with Victor. However, Victor, ever the master of psychological warfare, dangled both carrots and sticks, offering Cain the chance to add Jabot to his toy collection, while threatening to reveal the dubious origins of his fortune. Cain's hubris prevented him from seeing the trap closing around him, and his confidence would unavoidably face its greatest test when Jack entered the picture. The beauty of this plot is that it has multiple levels of stakes. On the surface, it is a simple business conflict between Jack and Victor, with companies, assets, and reputations at stake. On a deeper level, however, it is about pride, legacy, and whether or not bitter enemies can ever truly put aside their differences for a greater good. Jack is wagering not only his future, but also his own soul, hoping that working with Victor will make him more like him than he ever wanted to acknowledge. Victor, on the other hand, is playing a double game, determined to destroy Cain while also reminding Jack of his dominance. Cain, drunk on technology and seeking retribution, underestimates the human shrewdness of the very rivals who have spent decades honing their blades in Genoa City boardrooms. Viewers can anticipate betrayals, shifting loyalties, and inevitable fallout as the plot develops. Will Jack and Victor truly come together, or will their alliance fall apart the moment Cain is neutralized? Will Diane's fears come true, leaving Jack broken by yet another betrayal from Newman? Will Billy's resentment drive him into Cain's arms, causing a devastating rift in the Abbott family? And most tantalizingly, will this unholy alliance signal the start of a new era in which, despite their animosity, Jack and Victor finally recognize that they are two sides of the same coin, men defined by power, legacy, and a refusal to back down even at all costs? Ultimately, Jack Abbott's decision to stand side by side with Victor Newman is about more than just Cain Ashby, artificial intelligence, or business conflicts. It's about history reenacting itself in new ways, about the generational cycle of rivalry that has shaped Genoa City, about the hazy boundaries between ally and enemy, pride and pragmatism, honor and survival. and the sobering realization that sometimes the only way to defeat the devil is to make a deal with one's own. On weekdays, watch brand new episodes of The Young and the Restless on Paramount Plus and CBS.